Hello and welcome everyone to the Copy and Paste Reddit Reading Podcast. I'm so sorry it's been a few weeks, there's been some technical issues, and my audio setup's been moved around a bit, so my audio quality might sound a little worse. Hope it's fine for now. This is r/AskReddit, the 9th episode. I hope you enjoy. And by an NSFW account, the first question we have is, what's the biggest scam in life that nobody wants to admit? Moonman2090 says, click here to unsubscribe to this email notification. Agreed. Burger Machine 74 says, free trial, nice, enter your card details, damn it. SuperPufff says, and this is a serious one, fashion trends and the incredible amount of waste it creates. If everyone learned how to mend/alter garments in school, and value is placed on investing in a few quality made items instead of a closet full of disposable fast fashion, there'd be way less clothing in landfills, and way less demand for chemical-laden garments to be cranked out in sweatshops. Our relationship to clothing is so warped. Buying secondhand is a great way to wiggle out of the grip of the fashion industry, if it's available to you. Kilroy was already here says, claw machines in arcades. It's actually true. And that's it for the first post. And the second question by user/the Black Templar 125. What rules were put in place because of you? Pikkdogs says, as a kindergartner, I once fell asleep in the bus. When I woke up, the bus was in the garage and I had to yell to get someone to get me out. So, to this day, every bus driver in my school district needs to walk to the back of the bus and check every seat before they park the bus. Seems like a good rule to have. Screw you, Reddit Nazi. I should not have said that out loud. My older brother got a curfew enforced at Boy Scout camp when one of the leaders noticed him walking around the area in the daytime, with his eyes closed, counting steps. He may have just been practicing being blind, but the adults assumed he was figuring out how to get around at night without lights, so he could get into some kind of mischief, which, knowing my brother, was also possible. P.S. If you're one of those people saying, but, you're not thinking like an 11-year-old. And the next one, by Santa, I know him. At a ballpark, I worked concessions at. They had an all-you-can-eat promo day, where tickets were more expensive than usual, but concessions around the stadium were free, excluding alcohol. So I worked that day, and of course, it was chaos. But when the line started dying down later in the game, they started sending some of the hourly employees home, myself included. But of course, I didn't go home. After I clocked out, I stayed in the stadium and got some cheeseburgers and Philly steak, and soda, and found an empty seat in the crowd for the last few innings. Next year, same promo, but new rule for staff. If you get sent home early, you have to actually leave the stadium. Teripid says, golf users can no longer return an unlimited number of balls for tokens. When I was maybe 12-ish, there was a kids' outdoor play area. Go-karts, batting cages, and indoor was something like a Chuck E. Cheese, token-based games, etc. You could get a wristband for maybe $15 and it'd get you unlimited rides, mini-golf, and some other activities. Everything else costs tokens. When you finished golfing, you'd get 2 tokens for bringing your ball back. Unlimited golf, 50 cents worth of play value inside. So my friends and I would go there, speedrun 2 golf games, and give the balls back, $1 to our pockets. Later on, we started just fishing balls out of the water hazards and turning them in. Subtly at first, and then in bulk later. The guys working there didn't care or actively laughed at it. So we'd have a few hundred tokens. Then we started selling them for $5 for $1. We stopped buying the unlimited bands. I'd bike there and then $25 in a couple of hours. Management eventually caught on and altered the token for ball exchange. Orbitalconfusion says, in middle school, I would use Sharpies to tattoo myself, and other kids thought it was so cool, so I started charging $1 per drawing, wherever they wanted. The principal found out, and after I wouldn't stop, she put a ban on Sharpies for the entire school. Even the teachers couldn't bring them in. I'm a tattoo artist now. Spritty Tinkles 69 says, male students are not allowed to wear hair accessories. We had the rule about hair not touching collars, couldn't be past eyebrows or over the ears. I grew my hair out and just put it up in headbands. After receiving multiple detentions and fighting them and winning the next year, they made the rule. YT4000 says, my elementary school was located in the center of a neighborhood, and my 5th grade class was the first to get outdoor trailers for classrooms. We'd ask for bathroom passes and then walk home. Next year, they built a fence around the school. And that was it for the second post. Now, on to the third. And the question by an NSFW account is, if a nuclear war began in the next 10 minutes, what is your plan? Icarus7C says, I live next to one of the largest military bases in the UK. I'm done for. There is an old nuclear bunker nearby, but I think it's further than 10 minutes out. ResidentEivvil says, have a shower. Shydreameress, it's probably in the description. You're gonna have the worst shower thoughts ever. And an NSFW account responds, go to the store down the street with a spoon, need as much ice cream as I want. Bubbly Concept 4789 says, well, you can't really hurt New Zealand, they don't even know we're on the map. Lipov 27 says, I don't even know where the old Zealand is, much less some fancy new one. My grandfather built himself an underground bomb shelter on his property, as he was a true believer that the world would someday end. He prepared for any outcome, whether it was a nuclear disaster, war, or a zombie apocalypse. Yes, he was that paranoid. In the event of a zombie apocalypse, he erected a steel fence around his property for further protection from zombies, and even people who he felt would threaten him for his supplies such as food, water, his guns, and even gas masks. He believed there'd be no such thing as having humanity anymore. People would turn to killing each other for whatever they had. So in the event of a nuclear war, where would I go? Probably there. And another NSFW account responds to that saying, I didn't realize that the radiation of the initial blast has a quick half-life and the rest of the radiation has a longer one. I'm sure there's better terminology, but hopping into a bunker for the first 24 hours would make a huge difference in survival rates. An SFW account says, currently I'm sitting on a warship in the ocean. My plan is to spend another day at work. And somebody replied to that saying, that might end up being one of the safest spots. Which is agreed. I do not know how to say that, it'll be in the description. It's like asking what you'd do if you turned a corner and saw a tiger right in front of you. You don't need to do anything, the tiger will do everything. And that was the third post. And the final question by an NSFW account. If you had the ability to add a feature to the human body, what would it be? Independent Malt 78 says, teeth regeneration. And Foloreille response to that said, why stop to teeth only? Ofsquire says, a diagnostic interface that tells you what's wrong with you. And Ofsquire again says, fast charge. So I'll only ever need 1 to 2 hours of sleep. That's genius. RutgerCastro says, built-in translator from to any language. Never Stop Caring says, an organ to filter salt water into drinkable water. And Join Melon 4 says, the ability to zoom in with your eyes. That's genius. And an NSFW account is torn between wings, gills, and the ability to climb walls like bugs, or to spit venom like a dinosaur. Nurse Ratchet says, I'm sure there are a few countries without affordable healthcare that would love mending. Krish IG says, Unbreaking 3. And a name I do not know says, if you'd add Thorns 3, there would be way less wars and fights. And an NSFW account responds, on-off switches for most functions. Kukalapamangengo says, an ability that can make me fall asleep whenever I want. Bigredzombie says, an extra set of arms. I really badly want extra arms. Photosynthesis. That way, no more world hunger and no more obesity. That was absolutely genius, and that was it for r/AskReddit. I'm sorry my voice is a little sore, and I don't know why my tongue is not Englishing right now. But I hope you enjoyed that episode, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.